Hey, what's good people? I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. What's happening? What's good people? Travell C.W. Lynch, Mr. What, self-worth specialist, personal perspective coach, yada, yada, yada. You know where you is, man. You know what time it is. It is time once again for the I Am the Possible podcast experience. The bonus track. Yes, the bonus track of the week. And we are the place where possibilities, they become perspective. Woo-hoo. Listen, guys, I'm just on 10. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm on a natural high right now, man. I am so freaking excited to rock with you once again. Let me bring it down from like a 10. From like a 12. Let me bring it down to like a 9, to pause for the cause, to say thank you. You're my cause, you're my reason, you're my why. To say thank you so much for showing up once again, for rocking with me once again in the I Am the Possible universe. Thank you so much for every text, for every email, for every review, for every thumbs up emoji, for every comment. Thank you so much for every like, for every share. Thank you for every view. Thank you for every question that you've asked. Thank you for just your very presence. You guys know that in the I Am the Possible universe, that your presence is the greatest present that you guys could ever give me. So thank you. I wanted to show and express my gratitude. Before we do anything else, I want to let you know how valuable, how precious, how great you are. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Guys, I am so excited about what I am about to share with you today, because I believe that what I'm going to share with you today is something that continues to plague us as a society. In fact, it's been plaguing us for over 2,000 years. It started way back in the garden. It started way back with, if you want to call it the original sin or the fall of man or the deception, whatever you want to name it, however you want to frame it, whatever context you want to put it in, society has been dealing with shame for so long. Today, guys, I am going to go ahead and share my screen. The name of today's broadcast, podcast, episode, experience: shame, the enemy of your success. You guys know that all December long, I'm dedicating this entire month to helping, to investing, to saying something, sharing something, doing something that's going to help you to be more successful. And success, as we've talked about it before, does not necessarily mean money and wealth, while that certainly can be a part of it. And I am not against wealth. But success is whatever you choose to define it as. And what I have discovered in my own personal life and experience is that shame is truly the enemy of your success. I said that it started way back in the garden, right? It started way back in the garden because we were being successful, right? We were being successful in everything that God had created us for, and everything that God had envisioned for our lives. We were being successful. And then all of a sudden, here comes the serpent. He had a conversation and he derailed us. And the result was shame. Not going to go deep into it today. I've shared it so many times in other episodes. But if you're not aware of what I'm talking about, go look it up. Genesis chapter 3. It's titled The Fall of Man. And you can watch that entire conversation, man. How we went from just being with God, being with one another, being with ourselves, right? and there was this unity and there was this harmony. And then all of a sudden, man, Satan got in. We did something we didn't have any business doing, thinking things we had no business thinking. And the result was shame entered the world. And the Bible says that they saw that they were naked, they felt shame, and they covered themselves. And we've never been right since. Well, guys, my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to the world. Anyone and everyone that is dealing with some sort of shame. And I believe that shame is such a plague that I think that we all experience it on different levels and deal with it to some degree. I think for a lifetime, to some degree. Now, today I'm going to share a little bit of some of the things that I've learned and that I understand about it and how to kind of remedy it. But man, I can definitely tell you that I don't think it just goes away, right? I think shame is something that we deal with in different seasons, in different ways. And so it's not like a one-time fix. So let me stop kind of flowing in that so much, but let me go ahead and just dive into the content, man. This one is a big one for me because it hits home on a whole different level. And my heart is super sensitive when it comes to this topic. So just please know I love you so much, man. I care for you so much. And I want to see you free from shame. And I want to see you victorious and moving forward and in, you know, creating the type of success that God has designed your life to create. All right. So let's jump into this, guys. Number one, the greatest form of self-development, as you guys know, is self-discovery. That's right. That is the hallmark of this platform. We believe in self-discovery here. And what I want you to know about this idea about self-discovery is that this is your first time rocking with me, discovery made up of two words, disc and covery. Disc meaning the removing and cutting away of. Covery or cover obviously means to conceal or to hide. So guys, you are about to discover, you are about to remove or cut away that which has been covering you up and concealing you, right? There's been something about you that has been, you know, kept in the dark for far too long, and you are about to experience something brand new. You are about to see, you are about to hear, you are about to discover something brand new. And because of that, your life, your image, your idea of yourself is going to be transformed. Okay, so I want you to know that if you want to develop anything, even if it's developing less shame or being free of shame, then it's going to be going to be the result of you discovering more about yourself, right? The right things, the good things, the godly things about yourself. Secondly, guys, I want you to begin to right now, wherever you are, right? Confess. I want you to confess what you want to create, right? We are a people of words. Our worlds were created by the word of God. We were created. Let us create man in our likeness and our image. So we are literally the result of words that were spoken. And then he gave us authority and power in our tongue to speak life and death. So your words have great power. So I want you to confess this. Confess what you want to create. Now, here's a great confession for you. I'm about to be empowered to express myself. That's right. In new and powerful ways. That's a great confession. Based on the information that I'm about to share with you, you can already set yourself up for success to be able to receive this information. I'm about to be empowered to express myself. Now, for some of us, it's literally expressing a life or an attitude. You're going to carry yourself. You're going to think about yourself. You're going to be, you know, just your life experience, right? The quality of life is going to be free of shame. I want you to imagine if you're feeling shame, right? If you're feeling like something's wrong with you, if you feel embarrassed, if you feel like you can't move forward because of what people know about you, if you feel like, oh, I made a mistake and the world knows it, and so now I can't move forward, right? That's what shame does. And I'm going to break, you know, a lot of that down in just a moment. Right. But if that's how you are right now, if that's where your life is right now, this is a great confession for you to make, right? The confession that, hey, man, I'm about to be empowered. I'm about to be set up. I'm about to be equipped with some information that's going to help me not to express myself free of shame. That's a pretty dope confession, guys. All right, let's jump into the content, guys. Now, I want you guys to know something, okay? Whenever I, go into some of these deeper issue topics, right? I want to drop a disclaimer. I am not a licensed psychologist, okay? You may be in a place where you require professional help. Very straightforward, okay? I ain't getting no letters behind my name. Don't plan on getting no letters behind my name. So yeah, I'm not a psych. This is my experience. This is my life experience, my life expression. These are some things I've gone through, and these are some things that have worked for me. And if they have worked for me, then perhaps they will resonate with you. And if you put them to work in your life, perhaps they will work for you. Okay. So that's all that I can offer is my life, my experience, tell you my stories, tell you what I've gone through and how I overcame shame and how I'm overcoming, right, shame, whenever it pops up in my life. And so that's the best that I can do. Okay. So I want to let you know that up front. All right, cool. All right, guys, check this out, man. I don't know if you guys know, right? Depending on who you are, if you're just now joining for the, very first episode, or if you've been rocking with me for some time, but maybe you didn't know it, maybe you didn't notice it, maybe you didn't, you've never heard my testimony, because I got like 1,000 testimonies. But one of my testimonies, one of my deep rooted testimonies is that I stutter, right? Stuttering has been something that's been with me since maybe the age of 7. That's as far back as I can remember it. But I know that it popped up in elementary, right? And I remember being extremely embarrassed, not wanting to read in front of the class. Because I don't know if you grew up like me, right? But back in the day, we had those teachers that, English class, they want you to read out loud. Hey, can you stand up and read the next, 2 paragraphs out loud to the class? Or even worse, the worst ones were, hey, man, grab your book, come up to the front of the class, turn around, look at the class, and read so-and-so book, right? But those were the worst, man. I can remember vividly just, putting my head down, not making eye contact with the teacher. I certainly ain't raising my hand. I don't want to be picked on. I don't want to be noticed. I don't want you to choose me to say anything out loud, right? Now, I don't know if you stuttered or if you currently stutter or if you had any impediment, right? Any physical ailment or physical attribute that you became extremely self-conscious of. You didn't want people to notice it. You didn't want people to see it. You didn't want anyone to know about it, right? And it just made you feel really uncomfortable, and it just made you feel all types of ways, and it was just a bad thing for you, right? Well, that's what stuttering was for me, because I didn't make myself stutter. You know how many years I thought to myself, man, why me? How come I stutter? How come I can't get words out? How come I trip over words? My grandmother sent me to speech therapists for years, and it helped a lot, right? They taught me some techniques. But ultimately, I've improved over the years. And I don't claim that I stutter. Maybe I said that in a present tense when I first started, kind of talking about this. I don't claim I stutter. If anything, I claim, or, I kind of say to myself, there's times where I have trouble maybe starting sentences or trouble saying certain words. But in my perspective, when I really think about stuttering and knowing where I came from with stuttering, I don't necessarily claim it. And I'm not trying to say it doesn't happen, because it does. And I'm not trying to say that I don't have problem speaking here and there, because I do. But it's not something And that's a part of what I want to share with you. I'm not going to obsess about it, and I'm not going to walk around labeling myself as a stutterer. They diagnosed me with stuttering, right? And it was the kind of stuttering where I just had difficulty getting a word out or starting words with certain letters for whatever reason. And I remember, this is funny. I remember being on a interview. Forgot the podcast that it was on, but I was a part of an interview, and the lady asked me about I think it was like some of my childhood fears or childhood issues, and I brought up stuttering, and I told her, I said, since this interview has been going on, I've probably stuttered, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. And she said, yeah, I didn't notice it or whatever. I said, yeah, because it's not on my radar, right? It's not something that I really care about. It's not going to stop me, right? And I'm kind of jumping the gun, but you know how I do. I kind of jump the gun sometimes. But I'm going to share with you the framework that I put this into that has helped me to move forward in the things that God has called me to. But yeah, man, for years I stuttered. For years I had a serious problem with it. And I've gotten better. I've improved. But I wanted to share that deep-rooted shame and pain, because I want you to understand that whatever your thing is, it may not be stuttering, but whatever your thing is, I want you to know that I understand, because it doesn't matter what it is. What matters is the way it makes you feel, right? You feel isolated. You feel like you're the only one. You feel like no one else is dealing with this but you. You feel like you're on an island. You feel like you got leprosy or something, right? You feel so self-aware, man. So self-conscious, man. You're just so jacked up mentally. So I want you to know I feel you. I'm there with you. And I get it. I was teased for years. I was made fun of. I was bullied because of it. I want you to understand that, right? I want to ensure that you get that I get you. They laughed at me. They picked on me. They gave me these stupid names. They ridiculed me. They shamed me. And I don't know if you've ever been shamed before. Has someone, made fun of you, picked on you, made you feel less than, made you feel like you didn't belong, made you feel like you were the only one in the world dealing with this issue? And they shunned you, pushed you to the side. You couldn't get in that club. You couldn't be a part of that group. You couldn't hang around those people, all because you had this one issue that they didn't have. You were dealing with this one thing. Many of us think of these things as limitations. So you were dealing with this one limitation. And because of that, something that wasn't your fault, something that you didn't do, you didn't make happen, you didn't create, no one wants to be around you. No one likes you. And even worse, they make you feel worse about it by, giving you names and giving you titles and making you feel some type of way every chance they get. Well, if so, I want you to know that I get that. I get that on a deep level. I've hurt for years. I've had pain for years. I get that. But God has seen me through. He's strengthened me. He's inspired me with perspectives that have helped me to overcome. And I want to share some of those things with you today. All right? So let's get into it, guys. All right. What is shame? I got to break it down. It is an unpleasant, self-conscious emotion. It's emotional, guys. Shame is emotional. It's an emotion that involves negative evaluation of the self. That's right. When you are shamed and you feel shame, it's because you're negatively evaluating yourself. Shame says there's something wrong with me. And when it's really bad, it's something's wrong with me and everything is right with everyone else. Something's wrong with me and no one else is dealing with what's wrong with me because their life is so much better. Oh, the rabbit hole goes deep. See, it stems from comparison of the self's state, the state that you're in, of being, right? The self state of being with the ideal, check this out, social context standard. What does that mean? Real simple. That means that you wake up in the morning and you go out into the world with an idea that the world is a certain way. And then when you look at yourself, you don't fit in. That's all it is, man. Your state of being, you don't fit into this puzzle, right? Your piece doesn't fit into this puzzle. You feel me? Everyone else doesn't stutter. You do. You don't fit. Because the ideal standard of society's context is 99% of us, we don't stutter. How come you do? You're the 1%. So, off to the whatever with you, right? So at the end of the day, you're comparing yourself with other people saying, hey, everyone I bump into, they don't stutter. It's funny how the things that unless we're a part of a club or some sort of social gathering, unless we're a part of something that really hones in or serves a community of individuals with like attributes or like characteristics or like issues, like an AA club, right? Alcohol Anonymous, right? If you go to an AA meeting, yeah, of course, you're going to meet all types of people that got your problem. But let's say you just wake up in the morning and you just go about your normal day, your normal routine. How many people do you consciously run into and you can identify he's an alcoholic, she's an alcoholic, right? You don't. But in your dark secret place, you know what you're dealing with. And that's the same with anybody's shame. We go out into the world and it doesn't appear that anyone else is dealing with what we're dealing with. Nobody we bump into got the same problem. In all my years, I'm 44 years old. Man, I think maybe I've run into 2 people, maybe, that stuttered. That like I could acknowledge it. Now, I've had like 1 or 2 other people that have in confidence come to me and said, hey, man, I stutter too. Or, hey, man, I've got that speech impediment thing too. Right. As a side note, I hate the people that like claim it, like super claim it. Yeah, I'm a stutterer. And it's like they get around you and they see you having, like a problem saying a word or something. Right. And they want to come up and like buddy you, like be, stuttering buddies, right? They even start stuttering more when I start talking about stuttering. It's crazy. That's how the mind works. Careful what you focus on. But yeah, man. So anyway, but my point is I hate people who hone in on whatever their thing is and they want to like amplify it. And they want to come over and make a buddy out of you and then get you to amplify it. Well, I ain't going to amplify it. It is what it is. If and when I stutter, it'll be what it is, but I'm moving on. You feel me? And so that's just kind of my attitude about it. But yeah, man, you are out there in the world, rarely seeing people that have the problem that you have and you feeling some type of way because ultimately it makes you feel lonely. It makes you feel alienated. It makes you feel like you're by yourself, right? And so again, I know December is all about success. So I gotta home it in, right? But I just get on my little tangents and my little soapboxes and I go. So I'm gonna click this next slide so we can get into how does this thing called shame, now that we understand it, now that we know what shame is, how does this thing connect with success? Because you may be asking that question because we're like 24 minutes in. You may be thinking, dude, what does this mean? How does this connect with me either not being successful or being successful? Well, I'm glad you asked. All right. Shame is focusing on what is wrong or what is missing with us. Excuse me. Versus or rather than focusing on what's right or what's present. Shame always points out the negative. Travell, and I'm going to just keep using myself, okay? Travell, you stutter. That's what's wrong with you. So focus on that. You couldn't possibly preach. You couldn't possibly teach. You couldn't possibly go live on Facebook and YouTube. You couldn't possibly do a podcast. You couldn't possibly do blah, 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 blah. Look at what's wrong with you. You see? It focuses on what's wrong, or sometimes it's what's missing. Some people, like myself, right? Let's say you grew up in a single parent home, right? Now, I got to say this. My father and I have a dope relationship now, and it's only getting better. Okay. We communicate on a regular basis. God's reconciled our relationship, and we're doing great. And our relationship is only getting better. But the truth is, and I'm not pointing a finger at my father, he knows this, but I didn't grow up with my father, right? I just didn't. That's just how life worked. And it was for a plan, and it was for a purpose. So I'm cool with that. But here's the dealio. I could focus on what was missing. I didn't have a father when I grew up. I grew up without a father. So therefore, I didn't get what I needed growing up. Therefore, you see how that goes? Shame breaks down what's either wrong or what's missing, and it amplifies it. Now, you could choose to focus on what's right, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. You could be focusing on what's right and what's present, and whatever you're going to focus on, you're going to magnify, and whatever you magnify gets bigger. You make it bigger, right? That's why in church we say, let us magnify the Lord. Because whatever you focus on, whatever you magnify, it becomes greater. It becomes bigger. You notice it more. You see it more. You experience it more. So we got to start focusing on what's right. We got to start focusing on what's present. That's not to deny whatever your issue is. That's not to deny whatever your problem is. But it's to say, I'm going to consciously choose to channel my energy and my focus on what's right about me and what's present in my life. That makes sense? Check this out, guys. I love this slide. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my face from it so I can just go ahead and show you her face. I love this, guys. You ever get a pimple? I know this is simple, man, right? But have you ever had a pimple, right? I think probably 99.9.9.9% of everybody on the planet of the earth has had at least one pimple at some point in their lives. But you know, look at this woman's face, right? Beautiful face. And let's just look at it from a real estate perspective, right? Her whole, like, she's got all this face, right? All this land, all of this, you know, like just looking at the size of her face, right? She's got all this face and space, but she's focused on this itty bitty little pimple, right? It's almost like saying, hey man, I'm going to give you all of Pasadena, California. Like, you own the entire city, the entire landscape, the entire space. But then you got like one broken down house on the west side. Really? You're going to focus on that one jacked up house and you own all of Pasadena, California? That's what happens when we look at a pimple. You got this big old beautiful face, all of that face, all of that landscape, all of that, all of you, but you got one little itty bitty flaw, one itty bitty blemish. And what do? We obsess over it. It becomes our focus. And we pick at the pimple, and we think about the pimple, and we try to cover up the pimple, right? I'm listen, for me, when I used to cover mine up with Band-Aids. Like, I mean, dude, I hate pimples. And I hate the little ones that get right on the corner of your mouth. Like, I don't know where those little cold sores or those little pimples that pop up right about the corner of your mouth. Oh, I am so self-conscious. Oh my God, I just hate them with a passion. Right? I mean, I do everything I can. I run out, I get the medication, I do whatever. I put cream on at night. You know what I'm saying? I put the Band-Aid on. Why are we obsessing over that one itty bitty little dot on this huge big old face? God's giving you beautiful eyes, beautiful nose, mouth, beautiful hair, But we all will obsess over the itty bitty pimple. That's what shame does, guys. That's what shame does. Shame says, forget the fact that you are healthy. You got 2 legs, 2 arms, your heart beating every day. You got a good mind. You're in your right mind. You got Jesus in your life. Forget the fact that you got all these great things, right? Surrounded by a loving family and yada, yada. Like, forget all of what you got. Let's focus on the one thing that ain't right. Seriously? Seriously, Shame? Like, if you had a conversation with Shame, seriously, dude? Really? You got me focusing on this one thing. And when I look at the totality of my life, look at what I got. So maybe you're in that place right now, guys. What are you obsessing over? What is that one thing for you? What is that one thing that you are just nitpicky on and you just keep feeling some type of way and you just feel so shamed about it that you just won't let yourself out that prison? You just won't let yourself, go free. And you have a great life. You have so much to live for. You have so many blessings, but you're hung up on that one little thing. Guys, you have heard this before, I'm sure. Where focus goes, energy flows. Well, I want to introduce to you a new little twist on that. I'll let you know if you've never heard it before. Where focus goes, energy flows. Therefore, we're energy. And we go where the focus goes. Where focus goes, energy flows. We are energy. Now, this is not science class, and I am not about to break this all down. You got to do the research on your own. But I promise you the information is available. When you break us all the way down, yes, for those of us who are Christians and, churchgoers, yes, we are spirit made in the likeness, in the image of God, 1000%. We are spirit. But even that spirit, even our physical body, we are, when you break us completely down to the bare bone molecules, DNA, just the very most basic atom, the most basic element of our existence. Guys, we are energy. We are energy, balls of energy, made and formed and shaped and crafted in different ways. So that means that if where my focus goes, energy flows, then that means that literally a part of me flows toward what's negative. See? Shame says focus on what's negative, focus on what you don't have. Well, then that means that when I focus on the negative, when I focus on what I don't have, when I focus on what's missing and what's wrong, then literally a part of me flows and becomes resident in that place. That's why many of us are trapped in shame and have never broken free of shame, because we've made a home there. We focus so much on it, you feel me, that we flow to it so often that we have set up a camp, we've set up residence, we've made it a home. And it is time for you to start packing your bags and looking for a new resident, looking for a new home, looking for a new place to live. Hope that makes sense. This is what shame does, and this is how it wrecks your success. You avoid relationships, don't you? You avoid situations where you are vulnerable. Last time I checked, when you are highly successful, you're going to have to put yourself in some situations where, hey, you could crash and burn, or you could be highly successful. It's called risk taking. That's an element of success, because you're going to venture into the unknown. What about community? You avoid the community. Well, last time I checked, it takes 2 to make a thing go right. Rob Bass, shout out. Tell him my age, that's okay. But it takes more than you, man, to get there, right? No man is an island. No man is self-made. That's crap. That's a lie. Everyone needs someone else in order to be ultimately successful and to achieve pretty much any goal that you have for yourself. You're going to need some partners. You're going to need somebody to be around you. It ain't going to just be you. So if you're going to go out and be successful, you mean to tell me that you, through your shame, you're going to not get into new relationships. You're going to avoid, right, new situations and new opportunities, and you're not going to plug into a community of support and accountability and think that you're going to be successful. It's probably not going to happen. See, shame, it avoids healthy risks. You only make decisions about your job, relationships, school, etc., that you feel certain will end well. Well, guys, if you're going to be successful, especially if you're going to be successful in and for the things of God, you're not going to be able to predict and know how they're going to go. Yes, in general, God wants the best for you, and he works all things out to the good of those who are called according to his purposes. Absolutely. But knowing how and when it's going to work out, you don't get all that information. So if you're, if you're walking around with your head low, full of shame, and you're like, yo, unless I know I'm gonna get the job, I'm not going to interview. Well, good luck with that. Unless I know this person is going to marry me, I'm not going to date them. Man, good luck with that. I'm not going back to school unless I'm guaranteed to graduate. You see, you're looking for the perfect situation, the perfect scenario, and the perfect outcome because you're so focused on what's wrong with you that you have such little confidence that you need situations that are like guaranteed in order for you to move out and do anything. Shame wrecks your confidence. And if you don't have confidence, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to be successful in any given area of life. You need some level of confidence and competence in what it is that you want to accomplish and what it is that you want to do. And so if you are full of shame and you want to be successful and shame is doing all these things to you, are you starting to see how it's going to wreck your success? You see how it's becoming an enemy to your success? Oh yeah, it's wild out here. So what do we do? What do we do? What's the CTA? What's the call to action, guys? What do we do? Well, again, I told you in the disclaimer, I'm not a licensed psychologist. I'm sure in fact, I looked some things up. There's all types of, psychological stuff that you can do, and, deep therapy and medication and meditation. And there's all types of real heavy stuff that you could do, but you're not going to get the heavy stuff here from me. I'm gonna give you something very practical, something that I've done, something that worked for me and that has gotten me to this point. Okay. All right, guys, create a what's right about me checklist. And I'm giving you some resources. If you're watching on the tube, and you should be watching on the tube, I've given you some resources, guys. The Bible, assessments, observations, and books. All of those can be used to create and compile a what's right about me checklist. If shame is focused on what's wrong and what's missing, then the way that you're going to combat that is by becoming focused and becoming obsessed with what's right about you. Again, you got to deal with your shame. You got to, do some deep inner healing and some deep work, right? And again, I can't prescribe all of that stuff to you, but I know for myself, I've never taken therapy, classes. I've never, paid, someone to psychoanalyze me. I've never gone through therapy, but I have overcome these fears and these issues by the grace of God through some very practical steps. One of which was this: I got real good at finding out what's right about me. I consumed so much information that told me on a consistent basis what was right about me. It wasn't that I denied what was wrong. It wasn't that I tried to pretend like what was wrong wasn't there. I just gave more time and energy and focus to what was right. Now I'm going to do something real nice for y'all today. Oh yeah. I am going to not only list it here for those who are watching on the tube, but if you're on the tube or if you are downloading this on any platform, I'm going to put in the show notes actual links to every one of these checklists, or every one of these prescriptions that I'm giving you, right? Bible, assessment, observations, and books. Okay. I'm giving you ones that I have literally used myself. All right. And all you got to do is click. Now there's a little work on your side that you have to do to, go into these resources and get this information for yourself and then apply it to yourself, right? I can't do all the work for you, but I'm providing you what I have used, what has worked for me over these 44 years, and that has gotten me to this point. Okay. So on the Bible, you're going to click it, right? That link is going to take you to Psalms. You're going to look up Psalms 139 verses 14 through 16. For the assessment, right, it's called Strength Finders. You're going to go ahead and click that link, and you're going to take the appropriate free test online. Observations, an amazing book called Just This, that has helped me with learning how to meditate and observe and contemplate and get still and get quiet and be able to observe and to see and to behold the beauty of life and myself. Okay. And then also a book, a key book. I've got a shelf. I've got my own little library going on, but the book that turned it around for me, the book that just totally opened up the floodgates of freedom and me getting over shame and me, really feeling great about myself and me having so much victory in my life, and really has contributed to the philosophy and the work that I now do through this podcast and through my other platforms. It's a book called In Pursuit of Purpose, Dr. Miles Monroe. Game changer, life changer. Just click the link and order that book. Okay. Wanted to make sure that I didn't just give you some instructions, but I also wanted to just make it super easy, right? I want to remove as many excuses and remove as many barriers and roadblocks as possible. So just right there, click the link right there in the show notes, or if you're on YouTube, then it's right there, in the video description, man. Just go ahead and just click the links, shoot you right over there to that information, and boom, there you go. You got it, right? All right, guys, that's it. Your support matters. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Apple Podcasts, please subscribe and download. YouTube, please subscribe and hit that little bell. Become a part of the notification nation. And please get the word out and tell somebody about this. And if you haven't, head over to iAMthepossible.com. We got a free self-discovery workbook / masterclass, absolutely free. Head over there now. If you've never gotten that, download that, watch that, get that information, build yourself up. If you're dealing with shame, that free masterclass will definitely encourage you and definitely build you up, because it is chock full of what's right about you. Right? It's chock full of some great things that are right about you. It comes with a free notebook and some other assessments and some other great things. So it would definitely be a great starting point to help to encourage you and to build up your self-esteem, to build up your self-confidence, to build up your identity. Okay. All right, guys. I hope that this made sense to you today. Shame, man. Shame. It is the enemy. It is the enemy of our success. Because success is going to require you to do some things that shame tells you can't do. Right? In summary, shame is the enemy of success because shame tells you that you can't do some of the things that success requires. Yeah. Take the time this year. and make your what is right about me checklist. At least 3 things that you find good about you. Write them down and hold them close to your heart. Review them daily and go forward and live your best life. All right, guys. I am Travail C.W. Lynch. I am Mr. What. I am your self-worth specialist. I am your PPC, your personal perspective coach, coaching you from the couch. Yes, I is. And you know where you is. This is the I Am the Possible podcast experience. The bonus track. Yes, the place where possibilities become perspective. Until next time, love y'all, praying for y'all, believing in y'all. Salute and peace. I'm out.